Hey nerds, Alex here from Nerds Being Geeks, and today I want to talk about my Lost Zone Psychic deck. Let's get into it. Before we get into the video, please consider subscribing to Nerds Being Geeks. Any support is much appreciated. Thank you. Hey guys, Future Alex here. As I was editing this video, I realized I really didn't explain what the Lost Zone was, and I wanted to do that for new players that are coming in to the game. And if you are one of those new players, thanks for watching. So the Lost Zone is a part of the board where you just banish cards. You cannot access those cards once they go into the Lost Zone. It is not like the discard pile where you can recover those cards with abilities and trainers. Once a card goes to the Lost Zone, it is out for the rest of the game. So I just wanted to point that out. And back to the video. Alright guys, so I said this is my Psychic Lost Zone deck, but to be fair, I'm not sure who created the Lost Zone Psychic deck. I'd say the Lost Zone Psychic deck, all of them have just about the same 55, 56 cards. And the remaining 5 or 6 cards are just kind of whatever ones you want to toss in there. Those get rotated in and out. But this is how I built my Lost Zone. It is pretty similar to most everyone's. I really love the puzzle within a puzzle to try and solve within the Lost Zone Psychic deck. I mean, not only are you trying to just win the game, but you have like a secondary mission to try and get 10 cards in the Lost Zone. I thought that was really interesting. And as you can see, there's a lot of gold in this deck as I theme each type with a sleeve to correspond. So obviously my Psychic deck is in purple. I really love how the gold and the purple look together. Anyways, let's move on. I always start with the Pokemon. So one of the many stars of the show, Comfy. Flower selecting, we all know it. Look at the top 2 cards. One in the Lost Zone, one into your hand. Really like this full art. And something I've been doing in this deck has been a lot of the League promo cards. You can see that stamp. And those League promos come with the Cosmic Hollow pattern. I think that looks really cool. And of course, everyone knows Sableye, the real star of the show with that Lost Mine attack. You get 10 cards in the Lost Zone. For 1 energy, you can put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. I want to talk about this Mew and the Sableye. How I tend to play this is I hold on to these cards as long as I can in my hand. And when I play them both down on the board, I always put Mew to the active so it can copy Sableye. And I do that because if Mew gets knocked out, I can do Lost Mine again. The reason I do that is because of Mew's Memory of Dawn ability. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any of your basic Pokemon in play. You still need the necessary energy to use that attack. It's 1 psychic energy for Lost Mine. And how I play it, Lost Mine with Mew, expect it to get knocked out, come in with Sableye, Lost Mine again. That's 24 damage counters, 240 damage. It's pretty good. You know, we got the Meowstic line, that ability that lets you get 2 supporters from your deck when you evolve this Pokemon. Now, I have played both Chimechos, and I've come to the conclusion that this Auspicious Tone is the one for me. Search your deck for a Pokemon and a supporter card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. The Pokemon really doesn't matter too much. I mean, you can use it for whatever you need to, but it's really to get that supporter. And we all know what the supporter is. Colress's Experiment, most likely. Now the other one that for 1 colorless energy and does 10 damage, your opponent can't play any Pokemon with abilities from their hand. That's a good stall tactic, but I find this one to be much more effective for me. We got the unknown that discards itself, and you get to draw a card. Well, knocks itself out. Your opponent gets a prize card. I've seen a lot of people drop the Meloetta, and I'm not the biggest fan of this. I couldn't tell you how many times I have done 0 damage with this, or only 10 damage. I still have it in here. And then I've recently put in Yuxi with Painful Memories, put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. That really helps when you can finally use Lost Mine. You're hoping you got some damage put on your opponent's Pokemon. That's kind of what these 2 are for, is just to get that chip damage on there early, Lost Mine, and knock everything else out. And then we got the Bayonet and Shuppet with the League Promo Hollow and the Spooky Halloween Trick and Trade card. The Bayonet, really for its ability, once during your turn you may put a supported card from your discard pile into your hand. If you do, put this Pokemon in the Lost Zone. So obviously, most of the time, of course, is Experiment. So I'll talk about these guys real quick. I love this promo art Mewtwo with the Mine Report. And this helps you recycle your supporters, but really it's Colress's Experiment over and over again. When you play this card from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may put a supporter card from your discard pile on top of your deck. So yeah, play Colress Experiment, play this down, boom, put it on top of your deck, just to recycle that card. You want to get those cards in the Lost Zone as soon as possible. And because I'm playing the Mew that copies attacks, my bench barrier is Mr. Mime. And then Mimikyu with the copycat ability. Your Pokemon, if your opponent's Pokemon use an attack that isn't a GX attack during their last turn, use it as this attack. Pretty popular. I don't know how often I use it. It's really good against the big boy, like Wailord, for example. Just copycat and knock out that Wailord, because that is, to me, a big threat in this deck is something like Wailord, because it's so huge. Now you can see that most of the trainers are the same. I'm not going to get too much into it, but you know, use stuff like Lost Vacuum to get stuff in the Lost Zone. I got this cool Mysterious Treasure League promo. I mean, these are all standard cards for the Lost Zone. These decks don't tend to vary too often, but I wanted to show off the League promo balls. Now, I know you can get most of these in the secret rare gold, but I like the League promo stamp. I do play both Target Whistle and Echoing Horn to put a basic from your opponent's discard pile onto their bench. Obviously, you're looking for those low HP Pokemon so you can get, you know, double KOs with Lost Mine. Lost Blender helps you get stuff into the Lost Zone and draw a card. An Enhanced Hammer, a lot of special energies in this format, so perfect card for this deck. You're usually playing behind. Counter Catcher's a great card to use to stall. Fog Crystal, just a search card. And God, it looks so good, that purple and the gold. Scoop Up Net, really good to get out of a tough spot, or if you need to like reset the Mewtwo. I actually pulled this gold Buddy Buddy Poffin at a pre-release, so really happy about that because it looks amazing. and then a switch. So the two stadiums I play are Pokestop and Beach Court. Pokestop is a standard in the Lost Zone deck because you're playing so many item cards. It is the perfect stadium to dig through your deck. I don't know how many players play Beach Court. I see Training Court a lot, but I have found this to be really useful because most of my Pokemon are basics. And if you want to get that comfy out of the active spot, you know, to save it for another turn, perfect. You don't have to waste an energy. You don't have to use a trainer. It's free retreat. I mean, most of the Pokemon you're playing are basics. So someone tries to boss you up, Guzma, whatever, you can always try and retreat it out if they're just trying to stall. Now this does help your opponent as well, but you're hoping that it doesn't. I found this to be a really good stadium in this deck. Arven, just an amazing card for this deck. An item and a tool that can just about get you anything, really. Tulip, perfect recovery card. Put up to 4 in any combination of psychic Pokemon and basic psychic energy from your discard pile into your hand. The into your hand thing is huge. Definitely a game-changing card for psychic. Raihan, obviously you're going to get knocked out a lot because these are some really low HP Pokemon. You can recycle some energy and get the exact card you need. And I'd say the star of the show is Chorus's Experiment. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Put 3 of them into your hand. Put the other cards into the Lost Zone. Did they make a league promo of this card? I need to check it out. I don't like any of the full arts they did for it. Guzma, good stall card. Hex to turn off those abilities, slow your opponent down. Standard card in a lot of GLC decks. So tools, U-turn board, float stone, and spell tag. When the psychic Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out from damage from an opponent's attack, put 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. Well, just good pivot cards and we'll, you know, get a little help with that spell tag for that Lost Mine, just to get some chip damage going. Horror and Mystery Energy, once again staples in the Lost Zone deck. Put 2 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon and 2 less retreat cost. So a lot of pivoting in this deck. And then I blinged out the 4 psychic basic energy. It's crazy to think that this deck only plays 4 basic energy and it works. There was enough recycling and searching for this to work. I mean, you're really only attacking with 1 energy cost attacks, but these look really good. So as I do with my GLC decks, I theme them out. I got purple sleeves. With the psychic deck, I have a purple case to store said psychic deck in. Got a divider, keep some sleeves in there. All right, guys, that is my psychic Lost Zone deck for GLC. I know it don't deviate from many of the other Lost Zone psychic decks, but this is the one I play. This is how I prefer to play psychic. When this deck is on, it is on. I mean, I probably will build a second psychic deck, so it is a lower entry level for players that want to try a psychic deck that I have. I do not suggest to play this when people are like, oh yeah, let me play psychic. I'll be like, yeah, I don't know if you want to play the Lost Zone deck. So I'm going to try and create another one. I'm really looking at a spread psychic deck, maybe like Dust Buddies. This is my build. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you guys watching. See you guys later.